So this direct perception is a very limited way of getting knowledge in the spiritual field. Because in the spiritual field, so many things you cannot perceive right now. Some people say, I am willing to believe there is God. But Karl Marx had said, if I can dissect him in the laboratory, I will believe there is God. So what he is saying is that I am a pratyakshvadi. I will believe what I can see. Now, firstly, how will you get a laboratory that is big enough for God? Because He's bigger than the biggest. And if you do manage to get a laboratory like that, Karl Marx will be like a mosquito in front. How will he dissect God? But he's a pratyakshvadi. I'm sure the question has come up with your children so many times. I don't believe in God because I have not seen Him. So, the way I counter this is, do you believe that there is Bulgaria, a country called Bulgaria? Yes. Have you seen it? No. So if your theory is that you will only believe what you have seen, why do you believe there is Bulgaria? So then they will say, if you don't believe, there are these books you read out there. And you buy a ticket and go to Bulgaria and see it for yourself. So I say similarly, right now you cannot perceive God, but there are these books and they are telling us. And those who have realized Him, the God-realized saints, and seen Him, they are also telling us. Now if you don't believe them, they are telling that this is how you will see Him. You follow the process. After having followed the process, if you are not able to see, then it is disproved. But if you don't want to follow the process and you don't want to accept the authority of the books and the teachers, and you say that I will not believe God because I cannot see Him right now, this is only an obstinacy, because so many things you cannot see right now. Can you see the sun right now? No. Does it mean there is no sun?
No.
And when the sun is risen, can you see the stars? No. Does that mean the stars don't exist? Of course they exist. You cannot even see the butter in the milk. There's a process for seeing it. Similarly, there's a process for seeing God. Again, the Bible says, blessed are those who are pure at heart, for they shall see God. So you purify your heart, you will have pratyaksh. Now we're not willing to purify the heart and we say, I will not believe there is a God because I cannot see Him. This is only obstinacy. So this pratyaksh praman is a very limited one, direct perception. The second is Anuman Praman. What is Anuman? Inference. You infer one thing from the other. There is a fire on that hill. Minuji's house, behind is that hill. And when there are fires in LA, sometimes we see a fire there also. We don't see the fire, but we guess, oh, there's a fire there. How? Because yatra yatra dhumas tatra tatra agni. Wherever there is smoke, there must be a fire. We know the link. And that's why parvato vahniman dhumavatvat. On that hill, the smoke is coming, so there must be a fire. So infer one thing from the other. This is Anuman. So many people have used Anuman to prove the existence of God. Shankaracharya did it. Yadidam jagadev gandharva yaksha raksha pitri pishachadi lakshanam dyuviyat prithivya chandragraha nakshatra vichitram. He says, this astonishing world that exists, it must have a creator. Without a creator, it cannot have come into being. We cannot see the creator, but we are seeing the creation. And this leads us to believe that there must be some divine, supreme intellect behind it. Newton, a great scientist, was a firm believer in God. He saw science as a way of devotion. Through science, I can appreciate God's glories and it will enhance my devotion. Newton had a friend who did not believe in God, a fellow scientist. So Newton thought, let me open his eyes. He created a model of the solar system and put it in motion in his study room. There was the sun and planets going around. So Newton's friend came and he saw, "Arey bhai wah, kamal hai. Who made this?" Newton said, "Nobody made it." "Nobody made it? What do you mean?" "I mean, I was just sitting here and suddenly there was some explosion. So I turned around and this had got made." So his friend said, "Come on. Are you trying to tell me that this amazing thing is created by an explosion?" Newton said, "My friend, you are not willing to believe that a model of the solar system can be created by a bang. And you want me to believe that the actual thing, the real thing is created by a bang. So if this requires a creator, that also requires a creator." So using this inference, they come to certain conclusions. This is Anuman Praman. This has got other variations, apart from these three. Nyaya Darshan talks of Upaman as a fourth source of knowledge. What is Upaman? Comparison. What is that comparison? You have seen a cow and you have heard there is a wild cow that looks much like this. And one day the wild cow comes and you say, this is not a cow, but it's looking very much like a cow. So it must be a wild cow. You compare and infer. So Nyaya Darshan, which is expressing a whole lot of logic, uses this repeatedly. Koop Manduk Nyaya. What is Koop Manduk Nyaya? There was one frog in the well. And one frog came jumping from the ocean. There's one variety of frogs that lives in the ocean also. So the ocean frog started asking the well frog, "Are you happy here? You don't get bored in this well?" So he said, "Of course, I'm really happy. This is my world. I enjoy. Where have you come from?" The ocean frog said, "There's a body of water called the ocean. I'm coming from there." So the frog in the well asked, "And how big is this ocean?" He said, "Very big." So the well frog, he jumped from one edge of his well to the other. He said, "Is it bigger than this?" The ocean frog said, "No, bahut bada." He said, "Is it 10 times this?" No, much bigger. 100 times? Arey, even bigger. 1,000 times, don't tell me. See, much, much bigger. You liar, how can it be bigger than that? So, this well frog has spent all its time in the coop. It is a manduk of the coop. So, its intellect is limited to that well. And its entire experience is of the well. How will it ever understand the ocean? Now, Nyaya Darshan says, compare. This Upaman Praman. Similarly, our experience is limited to our world. There is so much beyond our experience. And God is beyond the purview of that experience. So with your intellect, you cannot understand God. It's just like that frog cannot understand the ocean.